Welcome to the Man's Kitchen, and it's me, your host, James the Food Man. And today I've got a Food Man exclusive recipe just for you. You haven't seen this one anywhere else, and today, what are we making? We're making manchiladas. Now, what is a manchilada? Well, it's simple. You take a manicotti, and you take an enchilada, and you go boom! And what do you got? You got a manchilada. Or an enchilada, but that doesn't sound quite as well. Before we get going today with the manchilada, I invite everybody to smash that like button. I ask everybody to hit the subscribe button. And if you want, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Or all three, or none. Preferably all three, though. Also, you can hit some down below, go to the comment section, and let me know exactly what you think about today's video. Now, let's move along to our ingredients for the day. I've got a box empty of manicotti shells. I already cooked them to save us some time on this video, so just follow the directions on the box. If you're doing a whole box like this, 4 liters of water, bring it to a boil with some salt, drop these in, and it says, let's say like 12 to 15 minutes. If you're gonna bake them in a really wet sauce, you can go a little less. If you're gonna try and basically just stuff them and eat them right away, go the full 15. But it is kind of hard to stuff them when they're hot, so I just put them in the fridge. Normally you should oil your pasta so it doesn't stick together. I just threw it right in the fridge because it hasn't been there for more than 10 minutes and it shouldn't really get too sticky. So for the stuffing, we've got some onions. I have about 4 ounces of onion, 4 ounces of diced red bell pepper, 4 ounces of mushroom. I've got 3 pre-grilled chicken breasts. And if you don't know how to cook a chicken breast, I have several videos where I show you how to cook a chicken breast. And I'll link one of them down below. Seasoning. We got some cumin, a little garlic powder, salt and pepper. We also have some cream cheese. Now these are the ingredients for the stuffing. I'll show you the topping ingredients after. Mostly because they're in the fridge. So let's move on to cooking this. All we're really going to do is we're going to fry these up, the vegetables, in a frying pan. We're going to get them nice and hot. We're going to add the cream cheese. The heat from the vegetables will be enough to melt the cream cheese well enough that after we add the chicken into it, we can pipe it into our manicottis. Now, if you want to make this a little more enchilada authentic, you can always add beans into this. I would love to add beans into this. Unfortunately, camera wife Heather has a moratorium on beans in the house. So, no beans. But I would put kidney beans and or black beans and or turtle beans in it if I were to bean it. Those would be my beans. Or all 3 beans, because I love beans. I would use all 3 beans. That's definitely what I would do. And I will show you how to put this all together next. Action. Okay guys, while recording, looking at my camera there, I don't know if I recorded the section where I put the onions in the frying pan, but I put the onions in the frying pan and fried them up to this nice brown here. And we are going to add our peppers. And our mushrooms. Okay, I'm going to want to add a pinch of salt. A little shake of pepper. A little bit of garlic powder. You could use fresh garlic, but I don't have any, so I'm using the powder. And we have some cumin. I love cumin in this kind of food, so I'm going to load this up, probably about 2 teaspoons worth by the time I'm done shaking. So I'm going to stir fry up these vegetables here until they are cooked and most of the water is removed from the mushrooms. And I will get back to you then. Alright, you can see that everything is cooked. So now we're going to throw in our chicken and our cream cheese. We're going to put in both blocks of cream cheese, and I had these sitting out on the counter all day, so they're nice and soft. So we're just going to thin these out a bit with our fingers here to break them up. And remember, it's always important to wash your hands before you cook. Okay? I'm going to rewash my hands, and we're just going to stir all this up. So we're just going to take our spoon and really just mix this up. We need to get some heat into the cream cheese for it to mix up more evenly. And if I were adding canned beans, it would have been at this stage as well. But like I mentioned earlier, camera wife Heather really doesn't like me having canned beans in the house. If you would like to see me cook with canned beans, then do me a favor and email Beano. Tell them you want them to sponsor The Man's Kitchen. And I'll cook with more beans. Alright, well the cheese continues to soften behind me, and I can probably turn it off. There's most likely enough energy in the pan to continue. We're going to make our enchilada sauce. Now this isn't going to be an authentic enchilada sauce, but it is going to be somewhat of a fusion, like the concept of a enchilada stuffed manicotti. I've liberated some marinara sauce from the restaurant. So we're going to take some Italy. I have 2 8-ounce soup containers here. So we're going to take some Italy, plus some barbecue sauce, a little bit of Texas. And would you believe it or not, if I told you Italy plus Texas equals Mexico? We're going to go for about equal portions here. We're going to add some cumin to this, give it a little more smokiness. And a little bit of cinnamon. We're going to take our whisk, mix it all up. And if you're not sure how to make a marinara sauce, you can always go back to my spaghetti and meatballs video, where I made a killer sauce. Take out a spoon and make sure that we're right where we want to be. Yep, that's exactly where we want to be. So now we have that done, we're going to take our roasting pan, and I'll move the camera down so you can see what we're doing, because now we're talking about assembly time. So we'll pour some enchilada sauce into our roasting pan. Make sure we get it evenly around here. Just give it a covering on the bottom. Okay. We're going to grab a piping bag, and we're going to load up some of the enchilada stuffing into this piping bag. It's going to work nice with the hot cream cheese, or warm cream cheese. Okay. We'll open up a shell. You're probably going to have to go at it from both sides. Okay? Once you have it full, just place it in your baking pan. I'm going to stuff all of these up, and I'll show you what to do after that. Alright, so that gave us enough stuffing to fill 9 of these manicottis, which is what happens to fit in our pan. You do not have to boil your whole box of manicottis. You could just roll 9 of these in your boiling water and save the rest into the box and use them next time. You might want to boil an extra 1 or 2 because you might get some damage on them. And if you don't want damaged ones, then I wouldn't use them. But there's nothing wrong with it. If it was only half ripped up, it's still going to work out fine. Depends how picky you are. Now, the next step is going to be to cover this with the remaining sauce. Okay. And now we have what looks like about 2 cups of shredded cheese, and we're going to sprinkle this cheese all over the place. Okay. Now, since the stuffing is pretty hot and the manicottis are still quite warm, all we have to do really is melt the cheese and bring it together in the oven. So I have a 350-degree oven set, and we're going to put this in for about 15 to 20 minutes. I don't think we need to cover this, so we're just going to throw it in the way it is. Now, if the stuffing were cold, if you make this the day before, then, and you're going to be putting it in for closer to like 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the amount you made, I would cover it, and I would probably cheese it at the last 10 minutes. And we have ourselves 2 pieces right here of our manicotti enchilada hybrid called the Manchilada. I topped it with a dollop of sour cream. Let's cut into this and just see how amazing this is. I already know it's amazing. This isn't my first time making this, but it might be yours. I'm a sucker for cream cheese and cumin. You could just give me that, a little cheddar cheese, bag of Doritos or Tostitos or nachos or whatever. I'd be a happy camper all night long. But you put this inside a manicotti shell. I'm in heaven. You could do some variations on this if you wanted. You could cook this without any sauce. Get those shells crispy, then sauce it. Probably end up wet again though. You could use shredded chicken from last night's dinner. Good way to use up leftovers. Anyways, I'm gonna actually sit down and eat this whole plate of manchilada. So I'm gonna tell you that the flavor tastes amazing. It was very easy to make, and it's a good way to use up some leftover vegetables and some leftover chicken that's in your fridge. Until next week, this was The Man's Kitchen for this week, and I am your host, James the Food Man.